Prosperidad National High School, an institution committed to nurture learners holistically through relevant, inclusive, and quality education, advocates the project Iread, which stands for Innovations in Reading to Elevate Academic Drive, bearing the slogan, Pagtambayayong sa pagbasa, aron kalantip sa kaybalo maangkunta. This school reading program paves the way for language teachers to spearhead the implementation of reading innovations and interventions, as well as strengthen collaborative efforts of all teachers across disciplines and external stakeholders as reading stewards. With the growing desire of the school to direct the path of our learners in improving language and literacy skills, we envision a future where all students are independent readers equipped with higher order comprehension skills to meet learning competencies across disciplines in all grade levels. Our mission is to help students to be equipped with the necessary reading skills to achieve independent reader level appropriate with their key stage and develop reading interest across literary genres in partnership with the parents and other reading stewards to facilitate a child-friendly reading program. Prosperidad National High School prompts a reading program that will address the emerging data for the academic year 2020-2021, where 309 out of 2,294 learners are identified as frustration readers, and an alarming number of 11 learners are identified as non-readers during the pre-oral reading test. Learners under instructional reading level, however, show data on reading miscues where repetition and mispronunciation are mostly evident. Other indicative reading miscues are omission, insertion, self-correction, transposition, reversal, and substitution, which still need to be addressed. Gearing up to the crafting of its reading program named Project Iread, Innovations in Reading to Elevate Academic Drive, the school calls to unify efforts of all teachers across learning areas as well as community stakeholders while giving them specific roles to reinforce their weapons in nurturing the culture of reading in school and home and fight illiteracy as one. Project Iread encompasses various interventions and its salient features in facilitating reading. The primary goal of this program is to address the emerging and alarming data of frustration-level learners and non-readers while also eliciting interest and love of reading across literary genres. The following are the salient activities under this program. Bayoy ko, tulunanan ko. Brigada Pagbasa. Ahead in Reading. Every teacher, a reading facilitator. Bayoy ko, tulunanan ko. Bayoy is a Manobo dialect which means house or shelter. Bayoy ko, tulunanan ko implies that every learner must have his or her learning space or reading space at home where reading and study take place and made conducive at home. This innovation focuses on addressing the needs of frustration-level learners where parents, guardians, elder siblings, or any significant adult in the family facilitate reading using the localized and contextualized reading materials with activities emphasizing the Big Six in reading, crafted by language teachers in school. The reading materials must be quality assured prior to the implementation. Furthermore, prior to the facilitation task of the significant adults surrounding the learner is the conduct of an orientation and training to be conducted for the facilitators. Brigada Pagbasa. Brigada Pagbasa embraces all learners, where stakeholders including parents or guardians, alumni association, barangay and municipal officials, or any non-government organizations take part as key players in facilitating reading, which could take place in barangay-covered courts. Furthermore, this encourages all stakeholders to support the need of the reading program for financial resources to secure the reading materials and sustain its implementation. Ahead in reading. Ahead in reading stands for allotting an hour every day to address dearth in reading. This innovation still embraces all learners, making reading a part of their daily routine as learners read different types of materials. Significant adults in the family, peers as reading partners, and mobile teachers play crucial roles in facilitating an hour of reading every day using available materials at home like Bible, newspaper, comics, magazines, or storybooks. Every teacher a reading facilitator. Every teacher a reading facilitator focuses on all learners where teachers, regardless of subjects taught, integrate reading activities and strategies in the lesson delivery as reflected in their daily lesson plans and daily lesson logs. In our commitment to advocate reading, the school anchored its project Iread to the following theories and guidelines. First, Deep Ed Memorandum No. 173 Series of 2019. As stipulated in Deep Ed Memorandum No. 173 Series of 2019, the department introduced the 3Bs initiative, Hamon, Bawat Bata Bumabasa, as the umbrella program of all reading programs and projects to address deficiency in literacy skills. In addition, Strengthening Every Child a Reader program, or ECARP, is reinforced. The schema theory. Comprehending a text is an interactive process between the reader's background knowledge and the text. This involves the 3 levels of comprehension: the literal level, the inferential level, and the critical level. The behaviorist theory. The traditional bottom-up view, or the traditional bottom-up approach to reading, means a habit formation brought about by the stimulus. Behaviorism became the basis of the audiolingual method, which sought to form second language habits through drilling, repetition, and error correction. Cognitive view, or top-down processing. In this view, reading is not just extracting meaning from a text, but a process of connecting information in the text with the knowledge the reader brings to the act of reading. Bioecological systems theory. In this theory, a child and youth development is influenced by many different contexts, settings, or ecologies. For example, family, peers, schools, communities, and policy systems. As its general objectives in the implementation of Project Iread, reading advocates of Prosperidad National High School shall produce independent and functional readers to elevate learners' academic performance, foster interest and love of reading among learners, promote a child-friendly class home reading environment in schools, community centers, and stakeholders' residence. Cultivate a culture of innovations to address reading disabilities, and promulgate facilitating of reading as a shared responsibility between the school, with all teachers, regardless of subject taught, and the stakeholders as reading stewards. Anchored from the general objectives are specific objectives per key stage. Key Stage 1. To make every learner a reader in MTB-MLE, Filipino and English at his or her own level by providing learning experiences and opportunities aligned to the 14 domains and competencies. Students should be able to demonstrate eagerness to explore and experience oral and written texts and to communicate meanings and feelings effectively. Key Stage 2. Students should be able to construct meanings and communicate them using creative, appropriate, and grammatically correct oral and written language. Key Stage 3. Students should be able to interpret, evaluate, and represent information within and between learning area texts and discourses. Key Stage 4. Students should be able to integrate communication and language skills for creating meaning using oral and written texts, various genres, and discursive contexts for personal and professional purposes. In order for our learners to be able to attain the mentioned competencies per key stage, they must be given relevant, appropriate, and meaningful reading strategies and activities tailored fit to their reading levels in order to develop the reading competencies that they need to master at a particular grade level. The crafting of the school reading program, Iread, or Innovations in Reading to Elevate Academic Drive, comes with a thorough process. As of the time being, the school has partially crossed the pre-implementation phase, where key players have converged through a limited face-to-face meeting and virtual meeting for the said purpose. We have assessed the needs to be accomplished, such as crafting of the school action plan, the most appropriate solution to the problems at hand, definition of the vision and mission, statement of goals and objectives, and the assessment to be implemented using appropriate and suitable assessment tools. In as far as creating a program partnership is concerned, the school acknowledged the crucial roles of the key players in the implementation. Of high importance is the role of the school reading coordinator, Ms. Jerry May Hudikpa, who is designated to oversee the overall reading situation of the school. She will be the one to consolidate reading results and analyze them as basis to bridge the reading gaps existing in school. Next is the program core team that is composed of language teachers designated to plan, craft reading materials, implement, train reading stewards, monitor, and assess the reading programs. School head Mr. Jezreel Balansag, who has the authority to oversee the overall reading situation and ability of the school clienteles, as well as designates somebody in his station to implement a reading program, checks the proposal, approves its budget, and leads its implementation. This is under the leadership of our Public Schools District Supervisor of Prosperidad District 1, Mrs. Elizabeth Hermoso, who leads and facilitates the consolidation of any district-wide reading-related reports. Added to her task is monitoring the reading abilities and inventories of the learners in her district. Of topmost importance is the role that stakeholders play in gauging the success of the reading program. They are the members of the learner's family, school community, the GPTA led by Mr. Anasterio V. Angchanco, the Alumni Association, non-government organizations, LGU officials led by the Chair on Education Committee and SB member Honorable Alicia Demicilio, Barangay Chair on Education Committee Honorable Danny Bahade, and other private agencies and supporters of the program who may provide financial, in-kind, moral, and spiritual support to the reading advocacies of the school. Currently, the school utilizes the Iread tool or the Philippine Informal Reading Inventory for secondary learners with Iread manual as guide, in order to ensure that the intervention could address the needs of learners, particularly struggling readers. Language teachers designed reading materials that vary by grade levels. These reading materials are localized and contextualized because the stories are well researched and originally written by language teachers themselves to speak about the locality. Furthermore, the reading materials integrate activities emphasizing the Big Six in reading, such as oral language, phonological awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension, with illustrations that serve as guide to the text. In 2018, Iread, which was originally named as Interest Regeneration to Expel Academic Deficiency, served as umbrella project for numeracy and literacy skills. Presently, it has been remodeled to fit to the emerging needs of struggling readers in the midst of pandemic. Thus, the same acronym is adjusted to serve as the school reading program and be labeled as Iread, Innovations in Reading to Elevate Academic Drive, in order to cater the demands of time. The launching of the school reading program is planned to be set on June 28, 2021, should this date be approved by the school principal and the public schools district supervisor. After which is the implementation of the innovations and reading activities designed by the school to be participated by all stakeholders. At the end of the implementation, the school shall identify and acknowledge supportive stakeholders who are steadfast in supporting the school reading program, its innovations, and in helping realize its vision and mission. Ladies and gentlemen, Prosperidad National High School advocates the Project Iread, which stands for Innovations in Reading to Elevate Academic Drive, bearing the slogan, Pagtambayayong sa pagbasa, aron ka lantip sa kaybalo, maangkunta. Together, let us nurture the culture of reading and sharpen our weapons to fight illiteracy.